we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
All right, welcome to episode 169 of the Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and an unchecked threat to society. So, all right, man, I'm going to make another run at this. You may have noticed, one may have noticed, that there has not been a product in a little while. Maybe I'm like a week past due on this action. And the issue there is that I got in the car the other day and I was driving to get this barbecue situation for which I was pining. I had a powerful lust for the barbecue. I had a powerful lust for barbecue. I had to have some of it. So I was driving and I was recording, and then it'll do this shit where I don't know what is the deal. I get a metric ass ton of spam calls anymore, like an ass ton. Like if you look at my call log, it's like mostly spam, 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 could be spam. And it sucks because sometimes I used to like to actually pick them up and see what was going on and let's see what this Pajit's got for me. You know, like if I don't got anything going on for 10 minutes and I'm just sitting there and I'll be like, all right, Pajit, you get your shot. What do you got going on? What do you want? And now it's like you can't even do that. It's the weakest possible sauce. So you're just stuck with nothing. It does this shit where, if you try to answer it, it just it waits. And then sometimes it'll connect you to some jackass trying to shill you for a home loan or a credit card or, who knows what, just trying to shill you for no good reason. So I was cruising and I'm talking it up, and it wasn't a particularly good episode anyway. It was shit, as one does. Typical Abuse Hour nonsense. It really goes nowhere. But nonetheless, I was just ranting along, and then I look and everything is at lockup. Nothing is happening. You're not recording anything anymore, dickhead. I'm like, what? Damn it. So I restarted the thing, and I was trying to record it some more, and no, you're still not recording. Why don't you piss off down the road, smart guy? So I just shit canned the whole thing. It was nonsense, and I figured I'd get another crack at it. So I'm doing that today. But today I want to rant a little bit about my last trip and some observations vis-a-vis, Marcus, some of these feds, some of these particular types that I had a brief encounter with, and get some thoughts on that. And then I want to talk about a kind of a lift, a kind of a program, give or take, some go-bys, not a specific program, but some go-bys that I had stumbled across, and I wanted to give my 2 cents on this because it's a couple of weeks, but again, adding to the repertoire. I think really, dude, it's I can't imagine. I think probably way back in the day, I don't know. I feel like way back in the day, if you look at your 70s or your 80s bodybuilders, probably the technique and the actual programming was most likely dog shit. I really do think it was probably just dog shit, because what these guys appear to have been doing, and looking at some of the guys the old dudes now that were Mr. the Shit in the 80s or 90s or whatever, your Arnold, really, honestly. I mean, the dude has whatever, really impressive genetics. What the guy was working with just to start was really impressive. You could tell his father was an SS man, yes? But then you get in there and what did you really do? You just went balls to the wall with the heaviest chemicals you could find, and now you get what you get. And looking back, I think we could safely say that the guy that was pushing a lot of this, your Joe Weider, yes, he is. This guy is probably a huge contributing factor. I'm going to push this as health and wellness and fitness, but in reality, I'm just pushing you pharmaceuticals. So I think really where, we look at this and people are like, wow, man, they don't make them like Arnie no more. Yeah, they don't, because you're not getting injected, you're not taking everything under the fucking sun like this guy no more. I mean, I did a cycle. I did one cycle back in '02. And I'm not going to say exactly how old I was, but I was young enough to know now that I did not need that shit. You did not need that, dude. You had plenty to work with. But, I mean, good God almighty, like literally waking up every single morning like you just had the best workout of your whole life. Like you wake up just pumped. Like, jack to the tits. And the roid rage is very real. But, when I look at it, though, all this tells me is like, yeah, this was never about fitness. This was never about wellness. At the time that we were doing that shit, me and, several other dudes, this situation was like, you're going to war post-haste here. You're going to want a little leg up. So at the time, like, we were getting tuned up. You just get fucking jacked, and dudes would go and lift, and then you get on the treadmill, and you're running, a half hour straight at like this 6 and change mile pace, just hauling ass. And, you don't think of it at the time that, like, this shit doesn't cost nothing. It's not just some black magic where you didn't have anything. Now you have this. This shit fucking costs. But back to the original point was that I think that kind of thing really did, while it did make a lot of people very rich, one, it really hampered an ability to look at, like, what do I got to do to actually maximize my own performance with the shit that I have? Because you do have a lot. You have a lot to work with without going to, like, a legit fucking cycle, especially in your 20s. So you have a lot to work with, but the ability to look at that gets hampered by your coin clipper who says, yeah, but go ahead, don't you want just the instant fix? I got a needle right here. You don't even have to work that hard. So for a lot of time, like especially, again, like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, it was like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. The only workout you're doing is whatever you read in fucking Joe Weider's magazine. And what you're reading there is absolute dog shit. I will fucking say it with a straight face. I will say it right fucking to him. And I've seen some interviews where, now when you see interviews with professional bodybuilders or a lot of just fitness models, and somebody puts a question to them of, are you natural or what? And like one, they'll either just outright fucking lie and like, yeah, bro, 100% natural, totally natty, bro. Liver King, for example. Yeah, bro, it's just return to nature, bro. Just eat the right things, as our ancestors intended, bro. Run out here barefoot and kill a fucking cow with a rock and just eat it raw, bro. That's what God intended, and that's why I'm so fucking jacked. Oh, well, no, not actually. And, when you watch the guys fucking, I don't know what, Netflix special, YouTube special, whatever fuck special ed special, and you look at the guy's kids, I mean, I've seen young dudes that are, into some good fitness shit and getting in good fucking shape. That's not what these fuckers look like. These poor fuckers look like they're just out there getting run fucking ragged across the countryside. Because you're out there running around with a full-grown fucking man who's on the juice, and all you're trying to do is keep up. So you're trying to grow like a normal fucking person, but two, you're trying to keep up with this absolute ass clown. So what do you fucking get? And then no surprise, of course, the guy gets the press that he does. Because on the other side of this is that on one side, yeah, your coin clipper, your pharmaceutical industry, they're getting fucking paid. But the twofer in all this, and I think this is probably the bigger takeaway, is that it castrates the goyim. It fucks you up. It turns you into an absolute fucking disaster. It turns you into a fucking bug man where that, like, hey, as long as I'm paying a shit ton for these pharmaceuticals, I need to be in the gym, I need to be doing this shit, that shit. It fucks you up, though, where you should be, like, in your 20s, early 30s, looking at, like, I got to get set up where I could support a family, I got to make something of myself, I got to look out for my people, etc. I mean, at the very bare minimum, do a little better than your folks did. Yeah, you should be doing that. But instead, it becomes what really is a lot closer to, like, a bug man hobby. Like, you don't have anything on a shelf. Like the fucking Funko Pop on a shelf is you. You're the Funko Pop. You are the fucking Funko Pop. So you do this shit, you get all fucking jacked, but now what's the downside? You look at any of these motherfuckers that are like, I mean, pro fucking bodybuilders with legit doctoral oversight, like a team of physicians looking over them, that like, all right, he's going to fuck you up, so we're going to have to balance this shit out carefully. They're getting fucking monitored, but look at them now. I mean, they're back to a normal-sized person, and a lot of them got some serious fucking health issues because of the shit you did to yourself the whole time you were taking this shit. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, what was this ever about? It was about taking something that should have been, yes, weighted resistance, lifting, a fitness lifestyle, should have been a worthwhile hobby, something that's good for the goyim, but instead of that, you got Joe Weider, Coin Clipper Deluxe, and his fucking fleet of imbeciles making it so that, like, yeah, I'm going to drain your fucking pockets and I'm going to fuck up your body. So, one, you're never going to really amount to shit, because when you're running like 250, 260, 270, when you're really only meant to be running about 180, 190, and you can't fucking walk upstairs, are you really fit? Are you really better? Are you really a threat? Nah, man. You're a fucking Funko Pop. It's no good. On top of which, you're fucking up your endocrine system, so even if you wanted to have kids and you got some woman that's like, oh, he's the greatest, we're going to have some kids. Not now, you're not. You'll be fucking lucky to get any kind of an effective shot off, and if you do, who knows what happens to them? If they come out all fucking mutated, or who the hell knows what. So, I mean, just looking at it from that perspective, you know, winding way down the fucking rabbit hole, I think looking at it from that perspective, I think that whole era of like the 70s, 80s, 90s, early fucking 2000s, where it was just dudes doing juice and then telling you to do the same workouts they're doing, but you're coming at it, you know, maybe natural and like, yeah, I don't understand why I feel like complete shit. I don't understand why I'm actually getting smaller. Because you're overworking yourself. Because you're not fucking chemically enhanced. You're not designed to do that. You got to fucking rest. I actually saw a good interview, and this is where I'm kind of coming to some of this. I saw a good interview with Dorian Yates where he was talking about, and he's very much our guy, but he was talking about, yeah, dude, you wanna get in here and get a lift, you want to grow. Okay, you gotta fucking rest. You actually grow when you rest. You don't grow when you lift. When you grow, what you're doing is damaging the muscle tissue a little bit, and that tells the body that, like, hey, we're going to be doing work that you're not suited for. You got to get stronger. So now when you rest, your body gets stronger. So he's talking about, you know, you go and you do chest, get enough done to where you damage just enough, and your body says, all right, I got to get bigger, I got to get stronger. If you go in here and you're doing ego lifting, and that's exactly what he calls it, that you go in here and you're just doing ego lifting of like, no, I'm going to do more, I'm going to do more, I'm going to do more, I'm going to do more. All you're doing is tearing yourself up, and your body's like, yeah, I got the fucking message. But now it's more like waiting on a broken bone to heal than waiting on just a little muscle tear to heal. So now you're going to need to wait a lot longer to get healed up properly, which you're not going to do because you're going to be right back in there, one, either ego lifting, or two, lifting according to some program that, like, this can't apply to you. It's for a guy on the juice, and if that's not you, you're not a fucking pro, and you've not been at this for fucking ever, all you're doing is going to break yourself down fucking further. And dude, I've talked to dudes, even a dude that I know that I had rolled with, and he's a little older dude. He's like, I don't understand, man. I feel like I'm getting weaker. I'm like, bro, you're in here every fucking day. What do you think? Like, you can't be doing this shit in your 20s every fucking day, every single day, dude. That's a no-go. And you're well past your 20s. You can't do this shit. Of course you feel like shit. You got no fucking blood sugar left, man. You're gassed the fuck out. Take like a fucking week and then come back in here and see if you don't roll better. Okay, so I don't know. I might see that guy today, so we'll see how that goes. I hope I hope the guy is, I hope he'd take some good advice, but no, of course not. But I think it does speak a lot to why it's important to get started on a good thing early, because you have to have time to let shit set in. You have to have time to let the gains set in. And I think that goes with just about anything, man. Learning a skill, learning a language, getting good at something, getting bigger, getting stronger, getting faster, any of this shit. You got to start on it and get a good foundation where it's like, yeah, I got a solid handle on this shit. My body is like baseline strong enough. My mind is like baseline strong enough. And now I can continue on. But if you're starting, late in the game, it's like, well, you might never get past the fundamentals or the very rock bottom basics. And in a lot of cases, that's all right, man. That's not such a big deal. I think the big deal is when motherfuckers get convinced that, like, no, bro, just spend 5 hours in the gym and you'll be caught up in no time. Like, it doesn't fucking work like that. Nothing fucking works like that. So I wanted to dispense some of the some shit that I had seen that I'm trying out, that I'm getting some pretty good fucking results off of. So I talked a while ago about the partial rep deal that I saw off of, I can't remember the guy's name if he had a gun to my head, but off of the guy that had been to prison and was talking about, yeah, man, everybody you see inside, man, they're doing these partial reps, and guys are getting fucking gains, man. So on one hand, it's like you want to say, like, look, this guy ain't a fucking trainer. He's not a professional. He's not a fucking anything. For my money, though, the reason I listen to some shit like this is because, just like with the pickup artist thing, I think that there is some situations where, like, when a motherfucker is desperate, where a motherfucker is like, dude, this has to fucking happen. I have to make this happen. And they will fucking try every fucking possible combination. It's like standing there in front of a combination lock. And if you've ever seen somebody do this shit where they accidentally lock themselves out of a combo lock and they can't remember the combo to it, and they'll just be like, I'll just try everything 001, 0002, 0003, and they'll go all the way through it. The smart money says, like, dude, why don't you make some calls, ask around, use your head. Hey, maybe we got this bypass method where we can actually pick the lock and you don't have to work so hard. If a cat doesn't have that option and he's willing to just sit there and grind it out, a guy that figures it out and is like, yeah, I know this works because I was locked down and I had nothing else to do and all I did was sit there and work on this shit. This is usually advice that I will listen to. And this was like the same thing I saw with with the pickup artist thing. Because, I mean, you could read all day. Like, you could read all day from, like, interrogators or psychologists or researchers or marriage counselors or any of this shit. You could read about what they have to say forever. And you will never get to the level of fucking absolute nuclear weaponry that some of these fucking pickup artist dudes were coming up with, because these motherfuckers were willing to go out there and, like, legit get fucking slapped, get fucking beat up by boyfriends, get whatever the fuck it took, because these dudes were of a mindset of, like, I am assed out, I am poor, I am not especially good looking, but I am not dying a fucking incel. And they were out there humping it, man. And some of the stuff, and I mean, I can't remember who the dude was in the chat that had been in on some of this, but I mean, some of this stuff was like black magic. And I remember reading it and I was like, this sounds fucking stupid, but I'll fucking try it just for kicks, And you go out someplace and you say these things to a woman and it's like your goddamn Harry Potter of the ass getting business, And you stand there and you lay out this incantation and you watch their eyes kind of glaze over and they're like, hey. It's fucking insane. But you would never get this with some researcher in a lab coat trying to get funding for peer-reviewed research. It's not going to fucking happen. So in that sense, like a cat with the the prison version half reps, this guy's talking about, I got to get strong. I got to be able to fight. I got to get fucking solid. My people are dependent on me. And if I don't come up a little bit stronger, people are going to come in here wanting to beat my ass. I'm going to take this guy's word for it. He's got fucking skin in the game. So looking at what this guy was talking about, he was talking about, again, like these partial reps where you're maintaining not just tension on the muscle, because some of this shit where you're like, a bench press or a push-up, for instance, when you go all the way to the top of the rep and you push, and now you're like, bing, you're pushed up, yes? At that second, at that moment, your muscles are not supporting you. They're not doing anything. It's your bone structure that's supporting you. And yeah, I understand that there is muscular involvement here. Some of your accessory muscles, like in your shoulders and in your trunk or your core, as the fruits like to say. Yeah, there's going to be some involvement here. I understand that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about we want to work our chest, yes, and probably our anterior delts, the front of our shoulders. If that's what we're working on, what you want is a constant level of pressure. So when this guy's talking about maintaining this tension through the partial rep, something I had read about was the idea that when a muscle fires, that's what you're training it to do. You're training it to fire. Like there's only on and off. There's not like, oh, well, you contracted it, but, you didn't come all the way up and finish the rep, so it doesn't really count. It's not as good as it could be. Not the case. Not really the case. And this is actually some science nerd shit, and I think, fuck, dude, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called like Z contraction theory or some shit. But the idea, and I could be totally wrong about that, it was from a long time ago. But as I understand the concept, though, is that when a muscle fires, it just fires. It's not like half on. It's not on a fucking dimmer switch. Yes, it doesn't kind of go. It goes all the way to go. This also sort of plays into the reason why you have to go to exhaustion. So you'd see some deals where guys talk about, no, man, I leave a couple in the tank. No, man, no. Some of the stuff I saw recently was that, no, you need to go to exhaustion for the fact that, for one, when you've got muscle fibers that are firing, right, they are firing or they're not. Yes, so what you want then is you get these muscle fibers to fire. You're not going to use all of them. So again, with like the push-up, you're going to be using some. You're not going to use all of them because you're only doing a push-up. Can you do more than one? Yes. So you're going to be doing this push-up. You're going to use some of your muscle fibers. It's going to recruit more muscle fibers as you go on. As the heavy lifters, the ones you usually use, as these start to wear out and they go, I don't got any more, I need more help, other muscle fibers will fire. Before they weren't doing anything. So there's not a situation where it's like, oh, I was kind of helping, I was kind of getting some work. Like, no. Unless you're going to exhaustion, those other ones are not doing shit. They're just sitting there. But now it becomes walking a fine line where like, okay, well, should I just load 400 on the bar and just crush myself? And then like they all fired now. Okay, well now you're going to have a situation where you're getting legit injured. And that's going to take way fucking longer to recover. So it becomes this kind of a tightrope act where I'm getting good fucking tension, I'm getting good reps, I'm getting exhaustion all the way through all the muscle fibers. And the other piece of this that I had listened to something about that it's a no-brainer, but cats don't do it, is a slow, controlled descent. So like a slow, controlled, where you're stretching the muscle out, like the push-up on the way down, nice and slow and controlled. And then at the bottom, pausing, yes, demonstrate control, because it's this tension where you're generating the damage that's going to make the muscle grow later. So a slow, controlled descent. One that I had read about was 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now pause, and now contract. But when you contract, again, not going all the way up so that your bones and accessory muscles are carrying the load, but just partly up, so half plus. And now that targeted muscle area, that's still holding all that tension, and now you start again. So you're going to really hit this thing, and you're going to be sore like you weren't sore before. But what this allows you to do, which I thought was pretty cool, is you can get, and again, the idea here is to reach that muscle exhaustion, to grow, to get stronger, but by doing the minimal amount of required damage. So again, if you load 400 on here and like, yeah, I'm just going to fucking hold it at half rep for as long as I can until my fucking shoulders dislocate, you're not going to like that. You're not going to get anything out of that. So what you're going to want to find is that sweet spot of just enough weight where I'm getting to that exhaustion point, but also light enough that you can control this thing. And like the easy measuring stick then is, can I have a slow, smooth, controlled descent? Like again, on the push-ups or the bench press, can I have a slow, smooth, controlled descent? 1, 2, 3, 4, pause, and now contract. And that's not pause here to say pause. That's not pause resting on your chest. That's to say pause, hold it at the bottom of the rep, and then contract and complete the rep. So the way this guy talked about it that I saw was that during this stretching phase, this is the piece where you're actually doing a good piece of the damage that's going to generate growth later. But what you don't want is like where you see guys get under there and like, all right, come on, let's go, 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 and like crank, 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 and start cranking out reps. You're using a lot of momentum here. Where like you get to the bottom and you're kind of bouncing and like bong. Well, you're not doing the work. And when you're not doing the work, you're not going to get the fucking gains. You're not doing the work that's going to cause the damage that your body's going to have to repair and get stronger over. So I thought that was a really interesting takeaway on the actual exercise portion. Another thing I had heard was looking for about 30 to 45 seconds of continual tension. So this deal of like, you got your power lifters, and that's like your complete separate school, man. That's like your complete separate approach, and there are about 1,000 different ways to do that shit. But I'll tell you what, being an old dude, being an old hoe like me, man, I cannot do that shit. Like I will tear myself up. And really, dude, I got to say, like, there ain't shame in like, yeah, dude, you get to fucking a certain age and like, yeah, I'm going to get a personal best on a fucking deadlift or on a squat. Don't do that, man. Don't feel like you got to do that because, I mean, you tear yourself up. I've torn things and fucked things up and busted up my knees, back, shoulders, every fucking thing trying to go heavy. And it's like, bro, this is not the fucking ticket. I ain't getting anything out of this anymore. At a certain point, I think, and what we all got to consider, I think, is like, what are you training for exactly? Training to be fucking stronger, training to be a little more athletic, training to be a little more dangerous than you were before. Yes, a little more intimidating to facilitate your ability to secure the existence of da-da-da-da-da-da, right? You know what I'm talking about? So moving along then, man, one of the other things that I had heard or read, and I think I've seen dudes talking about it in the chat too, but this is something that gets fucking echoed again and again. More fucking protein. Watch your fucking macros. And you got to get that fucking protein up, man, where you're getting close to, at least close to whatever your fucking body weight is. And if you're a fat fuck, like if you're fucking 210 and sloppy and pudgy and chewed bubble gum, yeah, don't eat 210 grams of fucking protein, man. I have read some ideas that like it's going to start costing you calories to digest this protein or to process this protein, and now you're going to actually end up losing weight. I've read that. I don't know how accurate it is. I can't completely speak to its, factualness. And plus, I think if you get, enough of the wrong kind, enough simple sugars in there, it could turn into a thing where like, well, now it's just going to fucking stick, dude. And now you're just going to be, bigger for no reason when you actually need to drop a few pounds. But more protein, dude. You're going to want that protein. So shit like getting enough protein, a nice fasting window so that your body can process this shit, and getting rid of the nasty food, man. The corn syrup, the high fructose corn syrup, and the seed oils. If you just get rid of that, you will be miles ahead of the game. And then something I'm trying again, like I read this fucking thing, and this guy's talking about, and I don't have a link to it, man, or I would post it, but you know how I am with being responsible. But this guy that I was reading on while I was on this last flight, this dude was talking about 3 months, dude. You should give something 3 months in this, getting in shape business. Give it 3 months to show you results. If you see results, keep it up. If it needs to be adjusted, adjust it. But don't come in here at a week and be like, it ain't fucking working. It's been a week, dude. Like you're still getting off of whatever you were doing before. Like if you were eating shit for 10 years, don't come in here at a week and like, I don't feel any different. Of course not. You're still processing 10 years of shit. So stop it. But this guy's talking about 3 months, and he's talking about, look, fucking eat right, hydrate right, stop fucking boozing. And I'm like, fuck. So I'm going to fucking, if I drink it all, it'll be like a drink very fucking periodically. But I'm going to try this shit out 3 months. And if at 3 months I'm fucking jacked and tan, then I'll be like, yeah, all right. And if not, I'm going to go get fucked up and pick a fight with someone smaller than me. But we'll see how it goes. The last thing that I wanted to throw in there was the sleep thing. And the sleep thing, dude, this is something that this really pisses me off looking back at my former career. Was like sleep deprivation was treated like, well, you got to do it, man. Otherwise, you're just kind of a puss. Like, what are you, a little sissy? And you fucking sleep when you're dead. I can't count how many times I've heard it. You sleep when you're dead, smart guy. Get your ass to work. But looking at just the times that I've felt the best, and over the last, 4, 5, 6 days or so, that I really made a concerted effort to say, you know what, all right, man, I'm going to get my fucking 8, 9 hours in this daytime, in this 24-hour period, I've always felt the best when I get some fucking solid sleep. So, like, kind of rededicating to, like, I'm going to get sleep. It's when you grow. It's when your hormones fucking peak. It's when your body is repairing and digesting and all this shit. But if you don't fucking commit to it, you can't come and bitch later that, like, oh, I'm not fucking growing. I'm not getting results. Well, why would you get results? You're not giving your body a chance to do what it's designed to fucking do. And now you get sold this fucking, well, here, take a shot, goy. That's not any fucking good. So I'm going to make a fucking concerted effort to, like, I'm going to lay off the fucking sauce. Oh, and that's the other thing, is that when you booze, when you get fucked up, usually not like a drink, like a drink, a beer, a cocktail. This isn't going to be as impactful. But you go and you get fucked up. When you go to sleep, you don't, and you know that there's like different levels of sleep, right? Like there's kind of I'm kind of going to sleep. Oh, I know I'm fading out. Oh, I'm asleep. Oh, I'm, fucking body repairing. And then, oh, I'm in dreamland. And it cycles through the night. Like, it's not just all one pump. And this is why, if you get used to taking a nap, like, there was a time a while back when I was overseas, that I would always figure in like a 1 hour nap time, like an hour of power. It's the deal. But you get used to that, and your body will learn to like cycle through this shit. And now in an hour, you wake up and you feel good. Sometimes what gets fucked up, though, is like if you get woke up early or you oversleep through that hour, and now you wake up in the middle of doing another cycle of that sleep, and you're like, what the fuck? And you don't know where you are. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what day it is. And it takes you a second to adjust. It's because you're in the middle of that down part of that cycle where you're like in the spirit world. So the trouble here is when you get fucked up, when you get genuinely liquored up, what happens is that your body bounces straight through that part of your sleep cycle where your body is repairing and digesting and getting your hormones straight and all this, and it bounces you straight to the bottom, to the fucking spirit world, where you're having screwball dreams and all this shit and probably pissing your bed. But it skips right past the part that you need to get jacked and tan. So, again, it's a downer, but, when I really was hearing a guy say all of these things at once, that, like, look, you got to be lifting right, you got to be eating right, and you got to be sleeping right. Sleep, eat, and lift. This is not an unfamiliar concept. But hearing a guy say it all at once, I was like, all right, well, you can't walk out here bitching about, I'm not getting results, I'm going straight to pharmaceuticals. Do this shit right first, and then start looking at, like, all right, if I want more, then I know where I can get more. But until you do this shit right, like, quit fucking with everything else. Don't roll the dice with your fucking health until you can do these small things right. Anyway, so that's something I'm fucking going to do for, like, the next 3 months through White Boy Summer, and I will let you know. So ideally, by, I don't know what month it is now. It's just now June, right? So, like, the end of July, I should be feeling really fucking good. I'll hope that I am. If I'm not, you got any idea how pissed I am? You hear me rant and rave now. Wait until I put effort in and get nothing in return. Anyway, so the other thing I wanted to hit on, man, the stuff I wanted to hit on today was I was gonna tell you, like, some idiotic observations from this last trip, and then I've got some Pepe Silvia for you, for your ass. And then a couple observations about the jackassery coming up the road in terms of this NDAA Section 224, where essentially now, instead of them just picking our pockets, we are going to be bound legally in government documents to the fucking Israelis. What a great... I shit you not. I am not fucking you around, man. Like, and I'm not even like... I'm not clickbaiting you. This is a no-shitter. Like, it's going to be on paper. You're going to be stuck with these idiots. But I'll get into that in due course. Before I do all that, I want to shill you. Then I have something else funny. I want to shill you, though. Above Time Coffee for all your coffee needs. It's by white people, for white people. Put it in a cup, put it in your mouth. They don't pay me. I just shill. seriously, it's good stuff. Get some. And then also want to remind you that you could find this low quality content anywhere that crummy content is purveyed. That is your Apple, your iTunes, your YouTube, your Spotify. I had it on Rumble for a while, but nobody looked at it, and it was a real pain in the ass to put it together. And I go on there, and then you got to sit and like physically look at it and watch it and not close it for it to load. So I'm like, you know what, dude, this is a ball break I don't need. So I just let it go. A few episodes are still there, but I've just kind of let that go. But anyways, so to check this shit out, dude. All right. So here's the thing, I guess, is that, like I've told you, I'm not in this for the money, dude. I've got my EBT, but I'm not in this for the money. But I was like, yeah, dude, I'll turn on the give me money option. And I know that just based on other like content that I've heard where people are bitching about, yeah, I mentioned the state of Israel and now my stuff is like literally invisible across the interwebs. That's well and good, man. And I don't want to go full 1488, so I'm not going to, go completely hard in the paint. But I'm not going to also, completely censor where I just plain old won't name America's greatest parasite. So, I'll call that out. And I expect that, like, yeah, dude, I can't physically find your product on YouTube. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that you can't. Irregardless, your boy raked in a record-setting $15 from the platform that I shill my shit out through. It's like, hey, these half-wits sent you a payout. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see what's my $3 this month look like. And I click on it, I'm like, hey, $15, look at me. I'm an up and coming professional. If I keep it up like this, I'm going to guess that probably in about 100 years, I'll be at a level where I could legit pay some rent with this thing. I seriously doubt it, though. I don't think that's going to work out. But irregardless, it is a good time. It is pretty funny. I got a laugh out of it. Like, you got to be kidding me, man. Enough people listen to this to get me $15 out of the deal. I'll take it. I'm not going to complain too much. I mean, I will complain, but not about that. All right, but before we press on to any of that, let's get a quick word in from our man in the field, Pepe Silvia. Pepe, with your content. Ready, go.
Hello, good day, and welcome to a shot of espresso for pleasant conversation. It is I, Pepe Silvia, and I want to talk to you today about something that is, I think, rather important, as all the things that I try to say are, and that is combination of two things, a little bit of a contigo hazard here. So like, woo, 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 alarm bells ringing. We got a cognition hazard, right? And it's going to be purity spiraling, and it's going to be e-drama, right? Now, I'm going to preface this with an old Greek feller who said something like that the halfway point between two vices is a virtue. Virtue is the halfway point between two vices, right? And what this means is, like, don't overindulge, don't underindulge, too much bravery is the halfway point between cowardice and foolhardiness, right? So, yeah, don't be retarded, but be brave. And it's the same thing with this e-drama garbage, right? And I think we're seeing an excess of this e-drama garbage. And a way to fight the e-drama garbage is just a little bit of purity spiraling, but not too much purity spiraling. So that's what I'm going to try to word vomit out at you. Now, the thing with e-drama is it's shit. It's always shit. It's like cleaning up shit, right? And when you clean up shit, you wear gloves, but you got to do it, right? You have to fucking do it. And it's like, where is the shit? Is the shit a danger? Is the shit in the kitchen? Clean it up immediately. Is the shit on the carpet? Even bigger problem. I'm going to need a lot more. I'm going to need to fucking pull out the Bissell. I'm going to need to pull out the carpet cleaner. I got to do a lot, all right? I got a lot of shit I got to take care of, literally. Is the shit outside? I can leave it till tomorrow. It's just dog shit? Like, okay. I don't have a kid's birthday party coming. Dude, I can leave it till this weekend, right? And that's kind of, we don't need to address it. a lot of times. And there's a continuum, so to speak. It's on a spectrum, if you will, you know? E-drama exists on a spectrum. And it's like little shit like, oh, you know, Devin Stack is secretly a Mormon agent. It's like, I don't know about that one. Or it's something big like Milo Yiannopoulos is a Fed. Don't fucking talk to him. Oh, okay. I won't join any of his groups or do anything like that. I'm not gonna do that. Like, and it's a continuum, and there's a window of acceptable dealing withness, and I think that window is perfectly outlined by two people I think I just mentioned, was Devin Stack and the guys over at TRS. I really like the way that Mike Enoch tends to engage with drama by not, because that's oftentimes the best way to like err on the side of caution. You know, there's no reason to, if you don't know exactly what you're going to do, you don't have an exit strategy when we're picking up shit, don't pick it up yet. You know, have a bag ready, have your gloves on, know what's going on. Make sure the dog's done shitting in the kitchen, or the cat is done throwing up. You know, whatever it is, that's the analogy. But make sure it all comes out. You know, just like the drama, make sure you have a full knowledge and breadth of the. It's okay to hold your powder, keep your powder dry. You know, it's okay to not have an opinion on things sometimes and say, hold on, wait, I'm going to be cautious until I get a better idea of what's going on, but I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus. I'm not going to demand that, you know, just because Nick Fuentes is a homosexual Mexican, I don't know that he's a Fed yet. I just would stay away from his shit. Oh, now we know that he is like a Fed, or he will share things that may or may not have happened, that we've all may or may not have said before in the private company, and he may go and say that online for internet points, whether directly to or indirectly to Feds. So there's varying degrees of acceptability. And, you know, on the other end is attacking some of that drama head on, like waiting till you have a full knowledge of it, and then the second that it's available, telling people, look, hey, you're a fucking retard if you listen to this guy. And if you're too retarded to not listen to this guy, then you can not listen to me. I don't want retards listening to me. And that's the track that Devin Stack takes. And, you know, I kind of like it. I respect it for sure. I happen to be a soft bitch at times, and I want to help people. And I'm like, well, hey, hold on. No, listen, get smart. Even though, you know, he's probably right. They probably can't get smart, but I'm dumb. I don't have like a user or a follower base that I have to manage, so I don't know what any of that stuff is like, but I do know what it's like as a follower of multiple like white nationalist commentators and somebody who is a fellow traveler in this universe where I have to watch my fellow white nationalists and see how we are portrayed, and I am going out there at all times and being an advocate for this kind of a thing. Like I do not flinch away from that in normal public life. I do not. I kind of, you know, I pick and choose when to roll that out, but I'm not like, well, actually, I don't try to, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of a Nazi, but like, let me explain it to you, right? And I come hard with the big guns first, and then I get the sticker shock away from them, and then I move on. The point being that you have to deal with these things. You can't not deal with them. If we stick our head in the sand, then we're going to leave people in danger, good people who might otherwise listen to us. So we have to deal with it at some point in time. But do we want to destroy someone's life who might just be retarded, right? Now, you kind of have to a little bit for the good of the whole, but you also need to not become a disgusting, toxic movement that doesn't know how to self-regulate and just is self-defeating, right? And it's something you kind of see on the far left where they're like out-commieing each other. But this is directly purity spiraling, right? So you can't be too much of an optics kike or an optics cuck, and you can't be too much of a purity spiraling person. A purity spiral, if you don't know, is just in pursuit of a more pure version of whatever you're doing, you're going to kick out anyone who is deemed as like unpure or unthreatening. If you're like a commie, this is going to be like, oh, well, he has an Apple Watch. He doesn't live as part of a collective. He does XYZ. His parents have, doctors, so we can't go there. I don't want to be down with someone who's not a real proletariat. And in our thing, sometimes we are like, oh, Italians aren't white. Oh, he's a Mexican, but he's white enough. And so, like, that's a lack of purity spiraling. Or, like, you might be like, that guy's an Albanian, and those are from the Caucasus regions, and those aren't really white. Those are some of them are Muslims. Some of those Dagestani motherfuckers look like goddamn Muslims to me, and they're Asiatic or whatever. Irish aren't white. That kind of purity spiraling, and it's needed sometimes. Clearly, in the case of the homosexual Mexican, it was definitely needed. In the homosexual Greek, it was also significantly needed. And there's pretty good markers there on when it's very, very useful and when it's not. So I just think that, like, as we are seeing more and more of this drama unfold, as we are seeing more and more, because this is never going to go away. Drama is one of the kite's biggest fucking tools, where they love to, like, split you up. It's like, oh, but I heard so-and-so. Like, it's Mean Girls shit, and it's really fucking easy to ignore by A, just going to the source, and B, speaking like a man to other men about your shit. Don't be a fucking effeminate bitch. And that is the number one way we discovered how all of this happened, because surprise, surprise, homosexual men acted like effeminate bitches. Oh, cool. That solves that problem for me completely. Well, it's just sometimes that's the way she goes. But that's my thoughts on drama. That's my thoughts on purity spiraling. And as things unfold, and I'm sure new events will, last, half decade was Milo. This half decade is Fuentes. I'm sure some new fame-hungry faggot will quickly, maybe they'll even get a fully white person this time. Who fucking knows, Anyway, maybe not. Maybe we're all too good. Maybe we're all too fucking impervious. Who knows? I say that as a filthy dago wop. But I am Pepe Silvia. And I love you guys. I love our people. Judea delenda est. Pepe out.
All right, fantastic word from our man in the field, Pepe Silvia. Right, so moving on, man. I was on location with a fucking client. I'll tell you, I'm going to just start referring to all of them as fucking client. You go see some of these cats, and it's like anything, man, where, like, you go and you look at a situation, you're like, well, look, here's all you have to do. Okay, but that doesn't work. Well, are you doing what I asked you to do? No, but it still doesn't work. All right, well, try what I recommended and then see if that doesn't work. But it won't. Why? Because I'm not going to try it. No shit. You got to be kidding me. So anyway, I go and I do this gig, man, and I go see these cats, and one of the more prominent figures of the client organization, talking to him, and he's like, hey, so I got this friend of mine that is going to be in town visiting, and he's got some friends with him. And I'm like, okay, what? That doesn't mean a lot to me. Well, yeah, he's got some friends from the Clowns in Action. You know what I'm saying? Use your acronyms, friends. Clowns in Action. They're gonna come out. They're gonna meet. They're gonna walk. They're gonna talk. I say, yeah, all right, cool. Maybe you know them. I'm like, no, I'm sure I don't. I'm pretty sure I will not know them. But so this cat comes out, and like these two balloon heads are pretty easy to pick out. But, like the kind of the angle that this was coming from was like these were dudes from the operator community that came out, and then they went over to the darkest of dark side, and now they're, walking between the raindrops and being secretive for no reason. But, like, you want to fucking come and hang out and see the sights or whatever, but then it's like, yeah, but bro, I can't talk to you, bro, about who I am, bro, or nothing about me, bro. I'm like, all right, well then don't. You could just say, hi, I'm Bob. I'm wherever, whatever the fuck. You don't got to make it weird. Don't make it weird, baby. But weird it was made. So I meet these two guys. And so these guys, like one of them, just by looking at it, you do like the little operator ass sniffing situation. You could see like one dude appeared to have been an operator of some flavor. And then the other guy, I'm not so sure. It's hard to tell, like, what's your pedigree exactly, because I hear one thing, but I see a different thing. It smells like office guy around here, but whatever. A man lets himself go. That's your business, but whatever. I don't know. So it's hard to tell exactly. But over the course of conversation, and here's what's a little bit odd, I suppose, is that I'm talking to these dudes, and I'll be as self-deprecating as the next guy, but I have been rumored to be, have at least a little bit on the ball, not be a complete village idiot some of the times. And I'll tell you, a lot of times, if you're at least a semi-smart person and you meet another at least semi-smart person from the same background as you, a lot of times there's a lot of skipping over of the ass sniffing and the like, well, what's your deal exactly, and you can kind of skip a lot of the foreplay and you just skip right to some straight conversation. And initially, it seemed like that was the situation with these cats, where like, all right, I see where you're coming from. All right, man. We don't have to get into the specifics. And we kind of ironed out that, like, I'd been to a few of the places you have been, and we knew some of the same people. But it was like, all right, we can kind of skip through some of the song and dance, and we see eye to eye on a few things. But now, as we're talking, and like the paths start to diverge a little bit. And I hear some of the propaganda lines coming out, like some of the default programming. And as the dude's saying to me, like, well, I'll tell you, it's interesting. I've got one vignette I'll share with you. And I'm like, vignette? Motherfucker, did you just use vignette in a sentence? Like, the next person who uses vignette in a sentence is getting fucking pistol whipped. You understand? Like, what is this shit? What's going on right now? Is the fucking programming kicking off? Like, you're part of the fucking Matrix? And dude, I mean, if you put this motherfucker in a black suit and gave him sunglasses, he couldn't be more part of the Matrix. And the dude starts in with like, yeah, I was speaking with a colleague from Ukraine recently, and I had to remind him, we serve at the leisure of the president for the benefit of the American people and project power. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is it? Use your head. You think for yourself just a little bit. But it was interesting to me, I guess, that you would think. I don't know how to say, man, that like, you talk to somebody, I guess the takeaway is that like there can always be an excuse. There's always a fucking excuse. And sometimes cats with no fucking skin in the game or, a minimum wage Joe, he'll be like, I can't just say what I think, man. I got to watch my tongue, dude. I'm fucking nobody. I work at a fucking fast food joint. I got a lot to lose. And I keep my head down and I keep moving forward. And then, somebody in the middle is like, hey, I'm just a middle management fucking schnook and I got fucking nothing and I can't affect change here, there, or the other. And what it becomes apparent after talking to these guys is like you're at the fucking pointiest of pointy ends. Like you are the guy behind the fucking curtain. And yet, not even when pressed, you're in conversation with somebody. You could pretty much say anything to me. And I mean, I think between dudes, it's, there is a kind of probably with any organization, if you worked at fucking, I don't know, dude, if you were a college football coach and you meet a friend who was a college football coach, there's probably some shit you would say that you would understand, like, yeah, this is some shit that's held in confidence, man. Like, we don't need to, but you know the deal, right? You know the fucking deal. And it's the same thing in the operator thing. Like, maybe we weren't from the exact same community, but you can share some fucking, I generally has been my experience that you could say like, the deal, man. A lot of this is bullshit, but I got rent to pay too, dude. And if, I'm going to fucking smoke this guy, I'm smoking that guy. What's the fucking difference, right? You know how it is, man. But I got to do what I got to do. Nice meeting you. See you later, right? You could say this shit. And I think with a reasonable expectation that anybody with half a fucking brain coming from that same background is going to be like, yeah, man, I know how it is, man. Anyway, where you guys staying? You getting fucking good dinner while you're here or what? What's the story? You could say this shit, but when you skip immediately to like propaganda fucking catchphrases, I serve at the leisure of the president, and I'm here to project American military might, and collect relevant intelligence and da-da-da-da-da. And like, well, dude, who are you fucking talking to? This ain't for a fucking job interview. This ain't 60 Minutes. What the fuck is this? But I guess the takeaway, though, what I'm getting at is that it's like, if you're going to be a pussy, dude, if you got no fucking balls, either you're too fucking oblivious to grasp what's going on, which I don't fucking believe, because neither of these are fucking stupid people. So you do see what's going on. You do see the fucking bullshit. You do see that a foreign government has our government by the nuts. So the only real option left is that you just don't actually have the fucking stones. Because that is something I have seen, and you see it a fucking lot. A blind man can see it. Fucking Sam Hyde pointed it out. That, like, you got all these fucking bro vets, you got all these fucking former operator type dudes, and it's big fucking talk when you've got the might of the American government behind you. They're like, I'll go out here and I'll do some shady shit. But again, this is like when you feel like they're going to have your fucking back, because I have been in the spot where you're like, dude, I'm doing what you asked me to do. And now it's like, fuck you, coffee. We're going to throw you the fucking wolves coffee. Wait, what happened? I thought we were friends in here. No, not fucking friends. Not when there's something I want more than your fucking safety. Not something I could trade you for. Then it's a different fucking story. But as far as these cats know, it's like, yeah, dude, I got the fucking backing of the fucking strongest military ever to walk the earth. I'll fucking talk like I got big balls. But now when it's time to fucking call it out and be like, yeah, dude, there's a lot of fucking bullshit going on. There's a lot of shit happening that shouldn't be happening. Do you have the fucking stones now? Do you have the fucking balls now to fucking stand there, at least in front of a dude who 99.9% probability shares your fucking position, stand there and say it? Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit going on, man. I don't know what the fuck, man. Hey, let's fucking link up. Like, give me at least a fake fucking email address, and maybe we talk later about something. You know, I'll catch you up. Something. Give me a nod. Give me a fucking wink. Give me fucking anything. You don't give me that. Instead, all I get out of these two balloon heads is the straight company line. So when we talk, you know, in our thing about there's a lot of fucked up things going on, and you know what I will not hear is like, dude, it looks fucked up to you because you're fucked up. One, I ain't fucked up. My life ain't fucking bad. I'm looking at the fucking situation across the whole rest of society and saying, look, you poor motherfuckers, me included, but the rest of everybody walking around here carrying an American passport are getting jammed up, are getting broken in fucking half for the benefit of a parasitic foreign fucking country. So when I can fucking see that, plain and fucking simple, I ain't fucking towing any company line to be like, yeah, this is kind of dicked. It's not some wazoo fucking take. It's not fucking reptilians or fucking space creatures or a fucking secret cabal. It's a very public cabal. So when I see a cat that's looking right at the fucking obvious and saying, oh, no, I serve at the leisure of this kosherized motherfucker over here, I have no respect, you know? But what it tells me is that within our thing, when we worry like this about the fucking mighty and all-powerful feds, these are people with no fucking balls, man. These are motherfuckers who are running fucking scared. They will say anything, they will do anything for the simple fucking fact that they feel like it keeps them safe. They will do whatever they are fucking told. If the man says the sky is fucking green, they will say 1,000% sky's green. Are we at war with fucking Transasia or whatever? Yes, we've always been at war with Transasia. I meant Oceania. Yes, always been at war with Oceania. They're our fucking greatest enemy. Always been at war with Oceania. When I read that shit in like the 1984 book, I really thought it was like, this is like some kind of hyperbolic thing to drive home some kind of point. No, dude. It's fucking literal. They'll look right at these Ukrainians, this fucking running fucking rails of coke right there on national fucking TV and turn right around and be like, he's a hero and an upstanding fucking citizen. Good God almighty, man. Have a fucking spine. Like, stand up and say, dude, we're dumping billions into a fucking drug addict so they can destroy an entire white country, formerly white country, and create a new safe haven for Orthodox coin clippers. That's the point of this. That's what we're doing. And even if the man says, no, it's for fucking freedom and democracy, call it out. Call it what it is, dude. Have a fucking spine. But knowing that they're not willing to do that, I think people like us, we can look at this and say, like, you know what, dude, I have no fucking respect for you. You motherfuckers aren't that fucking sharp. If you show up to my door, it's going to be because somebody wearing a tiny hat pointed you that direction and insisted that you go do it. And it also tells me that no matter what I or someone like me might say, if and when that time comes, there is going to be no fucking talking out of it. These are fucking drones with one fucking speed, and that speed is whatever the man says it is. So in some ways, it's kind of like a pain in the ass or a kind of fucking freak out, I guess, that like, yeah, there are motherfuckers out there that can and will come for you, capable motherfuckers who will show up at your door. But I guess the upside is that these are fucking drones. They're not self-piloting vehicles. They're not, they're bright, but they're not fucking brave, dude. Brave in the sense that, like, yeah, I'll charge a fucking machine gun nest, but you're not brave enough to think for yourself, which I think is the ultimate takeaway here. They'll only do as much as they are told to do, and never more, and maybe sometimes less, depending on the particular hue, yes, of the operative drone in question. But they will never get out there and like, yeah, I got an idea, dude. I'm going to fucking bust ass on this thing. No, dude, they'll show up at whoever's house they are told to show up at. And beyond that is like, no, I'm just standing by waiting for orders. So I found that to be a sort of an instructive, brief interaction with some of our presumed future adversaries. So apart from that, man, I guess the bad news, the even worse news, if you like, to wrap this dick dance up, I didn't look at the whole document. I just read a little bit on it, and I heard the InfoStormer guys talking about it a little bit. But this NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, in its latest iteration, apparently we're doing this thing now where previously, your Israeli government, they had to backdoor and hustle and lobby and blackmail and leverage and con and lie and, whatever to get the things that they wanted out of our government and our technology sector and our military sector and all of this shit. So they've gotten what they wanted for a long time, but now it appears that all of that has become just too much of an inconvenience. So what they've got now is this section 224 or 244. I can't remember which it is. But they've got this situation where essentially now it's on paper, black and white, that the Israeli military capability is directly tied to us. They are now your problem. And this is being shilled, and like I'll come to some of the details here in a minute, but this is being shilled. It's like, no, bro, it's an interaction, bro. It's a cooperation, bro. It's a joint effort, bro. You see, what's going to happen is, they're going to do for us, and we're going to do for them. One hand washes the other, goy, right? So, honestly, I can't imagine, like, what Israel would have to offer. There's literally nothing that these assholes have to offer. I mean, they'll come with these very abstract bullshit song and dance deals of like, if you have a cell phone in your pocket, you'll have a piece of Israel. Fuck off, dude. Don't come to me with this. I mean, what is China then? Don't come to me with like the cell phone would not be possible were it not for our greatest coin clipping ally. I don't believe that for a fucking second. So beyond these little abstractions and these weak-ass takes that, and like everything with these people, man, they come to you with this shit and like, oh, the cell phone, this was only possible because of Israel. You're like, well, what piece of a cell phone then? Okay, I'll entertain your song and dance. Tell me about the fucking cell phone. Well, this piece of the technology, this here was developed by Dr. Moshe Orenstein, and he developed the data linkage between this and this. Dude, that's something that doesn't get used anymore. Well, let's not get, you're going to get in some kind of fucking detailed, nuanced, drawn out, dick dance fucking argument with some fucking shlomo, and it's basically going to end with, well, you have your opinion and we have ours, and at the end of the day, you need us. I mean, it's just like our uncle said, man. You argue with these fucks, and you're going to leave feeling like, yeah, you made your point, you won, you got your point across, and the very next day, it's going to be like it never even happened. So if we look realistically at this, though, like, what do you get? What is there happening in Israel or being done in Israel or via Israel that is in any way a benefit to you or to America? Long and short, dude, there isn't. There's nothing going on there. There's nothing being developed there or built there or mined there or anything that we are not already doing in spades. And most of the things they know or produce are basically stolen from us. Like anything you know how to do is shit that you fucking took from us or from somebody else. So really, at the end of the day, it comes down to like, well, we're not wrecking your economy. We're keeping your economy afloat. And so, yeah, and then that would be their thing. is like, yeah, we own your central bank. So by you supporting us, we don't collapse your economy. And then they will interpret that as we keep your economy afloat. Well, no, dude, you're a fucking sea anchor. And basically it's a blackmail job where like, yeah, you either fucking give us what we want or we crush your fucking economy. Hooray! So in exchange then for absolutely nothing, what we're offering them is I can't, dude, I can't say it with a straight face. So what we're going to offer them then is there's going to be what we're calling a data fusion effort. And for, the uninitiated, anytime you see the word fusion, this is basically like you're just giving your shit to somebody else. So when I went overseas doing some of the shit I was doing, a lot of this was information collection type efforts. And what you would see is lazy motherfuckers who wanted to be able to take credit for somebody else's shit. And the way they would pitch this to you is, yeah, if you could route this through the Fusion portal or through the Fusion Center or this kind of shit. And I'm like, all right, wait. So I come back, I generate my product, I send it to who I'm supposed to send it to. And now you're asking me that I get onto this totally separate network, talk to totally separate people, and I basically just pass you all of the shit that I produce. Am I pretty much getting the grip on this? Well, yeah, you see, because it's data fusion. It's Intel fusion. So you see, we fuse it. It's with other stuff then. It all gets put together. No, so yeah, so what you're saying is I give you my shit and I get nothing. Can you provide me material support? Can you provide me personnel? Can you provide me any kind of logistical anything? And I ask this shit. So, I just want to ask, like, what do you need from me? And dude, it was comedy because I was hungover when I had this conversation. So I'm hungover, I'm fucked up, and this guy's pitching me fucking Intel Fusion. And he's like, so I don't know, if is there anything that I can do for you? Anything I can offer? And I go, money. And he's like, oh, I can't offer you funding. I can't really facilitate funding. People. I don't really have any people I can spare. And I'm like, all right, so you don't have personnel. You don't have funding. I already have all the equipment I need. It's basically a fucking pencil and a laptop. I get nothing from you, and yet you want from me. You want from me so you can pad your fitness report, but you give me nothing. You generate extra work for me. I'm like, okay, I think we've covered everything we need to cover. Okay, so when can I start expecting, like, dude, if you're not getting this shit from the guy I'm going to relieve, you won't be getting it in the future. Any other questions? No? All right, I'm going to go take some fucking Tylenol, right? But this is where we're at with this Israel thing, where, like, yeah, it's going to be data fusion, goy. So basically, you're going to give us all your shit. You're going to give us access to everything, all of your weapons tech, some kind of agreement where Israel will always be up to par with America in the weaponry department. We're going to talk about AI data fusion, where basically whatever AI progress we make, now they get. So if you look back, and I'm getting pissed, dude, but I mean, hear me out on this. So if you look back to like the last huge technological leap forward and you start thinking about like the nukes, right? We kept that shit in-house for a good fucking reason. And we tried to isolate it from these fucking tiny hats for a very good fucking reason. Because somebody with a good head on their shoulders knew that the second you give these idiots this technology, they're going to start, one, doing it themselves and doing it half-assed and threatening everybody and denying they're doing it. And two, the people that aren't involved in that are going to start selling it off to make themselves rich. And then it's going to be one fucking dick dance after another of leverage and blackmail and threats and mutually assured destruction. So instead of doing that, let's keep this shit in-house. Do all this shit way out in the middle of the fucking desert where nobody can fucking see it. And sure as shit, these subversive fucks managed to spirit it out of there anyway. And even still, the balls on these people. They go and they steal this shit. They send it, sell it to the fucking Soviets. They go and they build their own shit. But all the way down the fucking line, you go and you look. If you ever see a fucking post about Ethel and Julius Rosenberg, two of the Hebrews, only two of a much larger network, who were executed in connection with the espionage around stealing of these nuclear secrets, all you're going to see is a bunch of kvetching Hebrews. Oh my God, they didn't even kill anyone. It's just information that everyone has now anyway. Oh my God. So now think. of what are you going to see with this AI shit. Like, this is, as much as I hate on it, and I don't like the pictures, it's garbage, I hate the way it fucking writes, but it does do outstanding, like, fucking collection and collating of, like, bro, get all these numbers together and crunch it like this, tell me what it fucking means. For this, it is outstanding. It is like a no shit nuclear level leap ahead. And what I'm hearing a lot is that this shit is really good for what they're calling like dynamic targeting. Where, like, when you look at the way these missile and rocket strikes were going between Iran and the U.S. and Israel in this, and what you saw was like there would be a wave, and then there would be nothing, and then another wave, and then nothing. And what is happening here is like there's a wave of attacks, but now they're looking to see, like, what happened? How did this hit? Did it do any effective damage? Do we need to hit it again? Is it a waste of time to hit it again? Should we look at something else? So all of this shit, it happens much, much, much faster when you're using AI. So we can hit something and then say, yeah, here was the telemetry on this shit. Here is, based on what I've seen in other places, targets that look similar. Here's what it probably did. We might need to hit it again. I'll know in about 2 fucking seconds. And your fucking targeting cycle moves much, much faster. So this dynamic targeting, this is something that AI is extremely good for. So shit like this, right? This represents a huge leap ahead. But now, instead of keeping the U.S. out in front, what are we doing instead? Now we've got these fucking idiots. Hey, Goy, I want in on that too. I want the best of everything, Goy. I want us to be fused together at the fucking hip. And so what do we get now, dude? Now all we get is, like, these assholes were already a real pain in the ass, just with what we were giving them. And we weren't giving them, apparently, the absolute best shit we had. But now, I can only guess that we will be giving them the absolute best shit we have. Like, the best weapons we have, the best information we have, the best technology we have. And in return, what are we going to get? We're going to be looked at as, I mean, this is the beast and the harlot, absolutely. Like, these fuckers are the beast, and we are the fucking harlot, just doing whatever we're paid to fucking do. So I'm trying to think of, like, is there a fucking upside here, man? Is there a fucking upside? And I'd like to think that, you know, instead of all the onesie twosie slick shit that these people have been pulling, where like, oh no, Goy, we only get such and such money in aid, but then we also get such and such money in assistance, and then such and such money as a kind of a loan that we always pay back, except they never pay back. Instead of all of these onesie twosie school of fish type thing where you can't keep track of it, maybe, and it might be, you know, the long way around the fucking horn, is that all of their shit now has to be routed through this fucking thing. Anything that goes between the U.S. and Israel has to be routed through this. And it might take longer to unfuck it, but it might be a first step in unfucking it. Insofar as, like, now when you say, what kind of shit is going between the U.S. and Israel? If everything has to be routed through this, and I mean, and that's a big fucking if. That's a real, real big if. Because there could still be some backdoor action, man. You know, it's like, I don't want to get into it. But there could still be some backdoor action. But if there is some 5D chess, some 12D chess, whereby we are going to untangle ourselves from this, this could be an ideal first step. Where anything that goes, I mean, let's just say from the U.S. to Israel, because to say between the U.S. and Israel suggests that they're giving us anything, and we know they're fucking not. But if there's anything that goes from the U.S. to Israel, it's got to be visible under this fucking, whatever it is, agreement, accord, this NDAA section, right? So in that sense, then, what you can have is somebody in Congress standing up and saying, look, dude, this is the amount of value that has been transferred from our country to these fucking slipknots. All right? It's not fucking a couple billion in aid. It's not $1 billion in little helper money that they're going to pay back. Oh, no, not really. It's a metric fuck ton of money. It's a shit ton of weaponry that they're going to use to blow up children. It's a fuck ton of information that we got people busting ass to collect on, and these people are just enjoying at their leisure in return for nothing. So what are we going to fucking do about it? That would be an ideal first step, because I think, honestly, there's just too many stupid people that can't get their head around, like, it's this, but also this, but also this, but also that, and also that over there. is just too many things for the simple mind, for the normie fag mind to keep in mind. Yes. So maybe that could be a good first step. I don't know, dude. I don't really know if this thing fucking collapses first or if people start getting the fucking hint that, like, these people really are like vampires, dude. It's not to your benefit. Anyway, man, I guess that's probably enough bad news on that. But I'm going to get cracking here. So I'll let you get back to it. Sorry this episode took so long to get out, but if you dig this, you know where you can find it, all of these standard outlets. But where the real action is on Telegram, t.me/theabusehour, and associated chat. Just put, ask to join. Somebody will verbally abuse you when you get in there. Play ball, and you'll be in. It's a pretty good time. But until next time, you keep your eyes on the horizon. Keep your neck out of the noose. I have been Coffee, and these are my takes.